Okay, so Germany is putting a massive amount of money, 100 billion, into upgrading its defense tech.
Yeah.
Big headline number, right?
Huge. Absolutely.
But the thing that jumps out for me immediately is, how does all that shiny new hardware actually make the military stronger? It's not just about having the gear, is it?
No, not at all. That's really the core issue. You can have the most advanced planes, the best tanks, whatever. But if the people operating and maintaining them aren't trained up, especially on how to work with the AI built into these systems now,
Then that huge investment might not really pay off.
exactly, you risk under-delivering on the promise.
Which brings us perfectly to our deep dive today. We're looking at this new initiative from a company called EON Reality. They're focused specifically on, well, getting the German Bundeswehr skilled up fast for these advanced systems.
Right, it's called the AI Academy for Defense Bundeswehr Transformation Track.
Yeah.
And the sources we looked at detail how it tackles this skills chasm, as they put it.
A skills chasm created by things like the new F-35 jets, the PUMA vehicles, complex stuff with AI deeply integrated. Traditional training methods, they just can't keep up, can they?
That seems to be the argument. It's not just button pushing anymore. It's about human-AI collaboration, multi-domain awareness. It's a whole new level of complexity.
So our mission here is to figure out how EON Reality proposes to fix this. What's their solution? And what could this mean for Germany's defense, its role in NATO, the EU?
Okay, let's get into it.
All right, so what's the core of their solution? The fundamental tech?
At its heart, it's an AI-powered XR ecosystem. Extended reality, that's VR and AR combined. EON Reality, they position themselves as leaders in using AI with VR for, transferring knowledge quickly.
Okay, XR.
And the main piece is their EON XR platform. Think of it as a secure, cloud-based system where they can build and deploy these interactive 3D training simulations, specifically for German military gear.
So instead of just reading manuals or sitting in class, soldiers were actually in a virtual version of the equipment.
Precisely. Immersive learning. Way more engaging, potentially way more effective.
You mentioned something about spatial AI, text-to-XR. That sounds pretty advanced. What is that?
Yeah, this seems to be their breakthrough tech. It's about speed.
Okay.
This AI can supposedly take technical manuals, standard operating procedures, even just descriptions of gear like the PUMA or F-35, and turn it into an interactive XR training module. And the claim is in under 80 seconds.
Wait, under 80 seconds? Seriously?
That's the claim. Less than a minute and a half to generate complex training.
Wow. Because normally, building that kind of interactive content takes weeks, months, teams of people.
Exactly. So that kind of speed, that agility, it could be massive for keeping training up to date as technology evolves so quickly.
Especially with Germany trying to modernize its forces so fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so this platform is the base. What about the specific program, the AI Academy?
Right. So the AI Academy is tailored for the Bundeswehr's specific needs. It's not just off-the-shelf stuff. It mixes those XR simulations you mentioned, like operating the PUMA's digital systems or doing virtual F-35 maintenance with AI that personalizes the learning. So the training adapts to how fast someone learns, where they need more help, that kind of thing.
So it's individualized learning powered by AI within these virtual worlds.
Yeah, and the focus is very much on practical skills. You can practice procedures again and again in the simulation, totally risk-free. Plus, they offer micro-credentials relevant to the Bundeswehr.
Micro-credentials?
Yeah.
Like digital badges?
Sort of, yeah. A way to formally recognize skills and maybe map out career paths, both inside the military and in the German defense industry afterwards.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Beyond the core platform in the Academy, there were some other AI tools mentioned, like a career guide and compass.
Yes, that tool seems aimed at helping personnel figure out career options, whether they're staying in the Bundeswehr or moving into the defense industry.
How does it work?
Well, the AI helps them explore different roles, see how their current skills match up to requirements, and even suggest learning paths to, bridge any gaps for a job they're interested in.
Like an AI career advisor for the German defense world.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then there's this idea of an AI-era Bundeswehr curriculum. That sounds bigger than just teaching tech skills.
It definitely is. They're developing this with German experts and industry. The idea is it's not just about operating this specific tank or that specific system.
Right.
It's about teaching how to work with AI, how to use predictive analytics, manage automation, collaborate digitally across different domains, land, air, sea, cyber, the whole picture.
So understanding the bigger AI-driven battlefield, not just the individual piece of kit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk impact. What are the claimed benefits? The sources mentioned some pretty impressive numbers.
They did. They talk about unprecedented speed competency, claiming people can learn up to 4 times faster than traditional methods.
4 times faster.
That's the claim. And potentially cutting training time by 60% for critical roles. They specifically mentioned F-35 maintainers. If that holds true, it could massively speed up getting personnel ready for these new systems.
And it's not just speed, right? They also talked about quality skill mastery.
Yeah, exceptional skill mastery and quality. They report things like 95% first-time pass rates on tests and over 75% knowledge retention. The idea is the immersive practice really makes it stick.
Okay, and safety's got to be a big one with military training.
Absolutely. Being able to simulate dangerous procedures, think working on complex systems like the new F-126 frigates in a totally safe virtual space is a huge advantage. Practice emergency drills without real-world risk.
Makes sense. And back to that content creation speed. That revolutionary content agility using the spatial AI, that must ripple through everything.
You'd think so. Being able to update training almost instantly means it can stay aligned with the latest tech changes or new doctrines like multi-domain operations, MDO. No more training on outdated stuff.
And from a practical standpoint, cost and scale, especially with that $100 billion fund in mind.
Right. The cloud platform means they can scale the training across Germany relatively easily, and they project potential cost savings of up to 65% compared to traditional training.
65%. That could free up serious money from that big fund for other things.
Potentially, yes, if those savings materialize.
So the big goal seems to be creating this AI-ready, future-proof talent pool.
Exactly. Not just people who can use today's systems, but people with the skills for what's coming next. Data analysis, human AI teaming, complex problem solving, skills needed for things like DLBO, digitalization of land-based operations, and future systems down the line.
So putting it all together, they're aiming for a turbocharged strategic impact on Germany's whole defense modernization, the Zeitenwende.
Yeah, boosting their NATO and EU contributions, solidifying their position as a tech-advanced military. If it works as advertised, it could be a major enabler for that strategy.
Okay, it might be useful to contrast this directly.
Yeah.
How does this AI XR approach stack up against, the way the Bundeswehr has traditionally done training?
Well, the differences look pretty stark based on the materials. Content creation, traditional methods take months, maybe longer, need big teams. EON Reality claims under 80 seconds with their AI.
Huge difference. Learning speed.
Traditional. ENN claims up to 4x faster learning.
And the focus.
Traditionally, it's been heavily procedural, follow these steps. The new approach emphasizes that, plus understanding the AI, the automation, the multi-domain picture.
What about safety training?
Traditional often involves classroom theory, then maybe limited, sometimes risky, hands-on practice. XR allows for totally risk-free immersion in complex, even dangerous scenarios, practicing emergency shutdowns virtually, for example.
Right, and just getting time on the actual equipment is always limited and expensive.
Exactly. Virtual simulations offer almost unlimited, cheaper practice on highly realistic models of the gear. Human-machine interaction is also explicitly built into the curriculum now, maybe more than before.
In keeping things up to date.
Traditional curriculum updates can be slow. With spatial AI, they claim near-instant updates to match tech changes. Then there's the cost factor we mentioned, and the goal of getting people mission-ready faster. It's a different philosophy.
Let's make this even more concrete. Can we run through some of those specific use cases mentioned? How would this actually look for a soldier training on, say, a PUMA?
Okay, sure. So for the PUMA IFV or an F-35 or the new F-126 frigates, imagine a new recruit putting on a headset and virtually exploring the entire digital system, operating controls, running through checklists, all based on the official procedures converted by the AI before they even touch the real thing.
I can see that. What about maintenance?
Yeah.
Say for a Leopard tank or a helicopter.
Instead of just a manual, a technician could use AR glasses, maybe. See step-by-step virtual instructions overlaid on the real tank engine, or practice diagnosing faults in a VR simulation where the AI generates realistic problems to solve.
Okay, that sounds much more hands-on. What about something bigger, like the European Sky Shield Initiative?
You could have operators from different countries training together in a shared virtual space, practicing coordinating Patriot and IRIS-T systems against AI-generated threat profiles, maybe even experiencing simulated electronic jamming.
Wow, complex coalition training, virtually. Yep. And DLBO, the networked operations.
Simulating those network dynamics. Practicing command and control in a virtual command post, reacting to AI-driven alerts about enemy movements or system failures, preparing them for that data-heavy environment.
It really touches a lot of areas. They even mention things like hazmat handling and CBRN defense.
Yeah, practicing those incredibly high-stakes procedures safely in VR. The AI can throw all sorts of emergency scenarios at them to build muscle memory without any real danger.
And looking ahead, future systems like MGCS or FCAS.
This seems crucial for training personnel on how to effectively team up with the highly autonomous AI that will be core to those future systems, understanding the AI's logic, managing its tasks.
And finally, using AR out in the field for maintenance.
Right. Imagine a mechanic wearing AR glasses, looking at a piece of equipment, and the AI instantly brings up the relevant section of the manual as an overlay, guiding them through the repair. Could cut down errors and speed things up significantly.
Okay, these examples really paint a picture of how versatile this could be. It seems to cover a huge range of needs.
It really does seem comprehensive in its potential applications across the Bundeswehr.
There's a quote included from EON Reality's chairman, Dan Ligiskar, that really emphasized the human side of this.
Yes, I remember that. He said something like, Germany's Zeitenwende isn't just about hardware, it's fundamentally about investing in the skilled personnel.
Who will operate, maintain, and command these advanced capabilities. It brings it back to the people.
Exactly, and he made the point that traditional training just can't keep up with the pace of tech change, reiterating that claim of equipping people with these AI-era skills potentially 4 times faster.
So wrapping this up, it feels like EON Reality's approach, using spatial AI and XR, is offering a pretty compelling, maybe even transformative path for Germany's defense modernization.
It certainly presents a potential solution to that critical bottleneck. How do you actually get your people ready for all this complex AI-driven technology you're buying?
The focus on speed, safety, scalability, cost efficiency, and really future-proofing the workforce by teaching human-AI collaboration. It does seem like it could be a key factor in making that $100 billion investment truly count.
It could be. It directly addresses translating the tech investment into actual capability, strengthening Germany's role in NATO and the EU.
Which loops back to my first question. How does the money turn into a stronger military? Maybe this kind of human-focused, tech-enabled training is a big part of the answer.
It could very well be. And it leaves us with a pretty big thought to chew on, doesn't it? As AI gets deeper and deeper into military tech, how will these kinds of immersive, rapid training methods change things? Not just readiness, but like the very nature of military skill. How humans and machines work together in conflict.
That's a really interesting question. The definition of expertise itself might shift.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. It's a fascinating area.
Absolutely. And for anyone wanting to dig deeper into this specific initiative, you can find more details by looking into the resources EON Reality has made available.